And welcome everyone to the main course from the Company of Heroes channel. This time around we're going to be doing a 1v1 on, yet again, Duclair. As I said in the other cast just before this, we're going to be doing a double cast on Duclair. Righto guys, so on to Duclair. Now, I've got to tell you one thing about this replay, okay? It's a bit of a funny replay. Actually, don't expect too much of it in terms of expertise and skill and all that great stuff. However, you know, these people still have quite a bit of skill, but this is totally a very entertaining replay. So, mind you guys, pause the replay right now, pause your video, go get a bunch of popcorn, a bowl of popcorn, and just sit down and watch this replay. It's going to be really entertaining. I'm sure you guys are going to enjoy it. Righto, so basically what I'm going to be doing, this is going to be a feedback episode. At the end of this cast, I'm going to be giving feedback from most of your guys' opinions that you left me in, well, the last cast, not the last one, but the one before that, the last question episode. Righto, so I guess we'll get this game started. Got one more message afterwards, but we'll get this game started, okay? So we're at the 5-second mark, and we're going to be starting in 3 seconds, so in 3, 2, 1, and go. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Alright, so we're looking at today one player that goes by, actually we'll start off the axes, one player that goes by LESTANDARTE. I hope I'm saying that right. It sounds rather French. I think it's French, or maybe I'm just being a bit stereotypical with my thoughts of what a French person sounds like. LESTANDARTE is actually a level 10 Wehrmacht player, so that's good on that front. I suppose, you know, he's a decent player. Obviously, I said they're not all expert players, but you know, they're still decently ranked. They're quite average skilled. If we go on over to the Americans, we've got BohdiDharma as the Americans. He's also a level 13 American in 1v1. Alright, so BohdiDharma, I think that's actually to do with I think that's actually a real person, like historical sort of person from ancient Chinese period or something like that. He was one of the founding fathers of Zen and also the fighting style of the Shaolin monks. So that's the BohdiDharma. So that's an introduction to all the players. Now, I actually explained what Duclair was like in the last episode, the starter. So just a quick overview is that basically you're fighting for your opponent's territory. Everyone has kind of, well, they've got territory that's pretty much for their side, and it's all about capturing your opponent's territories. Now then, what I could say is that, well, I got one more final message, and what you might actually notice in a lot of my new casts, and a few of the casts, recent new casts, is that I'm starting to put up advertisements, okay? You maybe notice that, or you might have closed it by now actually, but there might have been an advertisement near the bottom, just some sort of text box. So that means I recently got approved for advertising on YouTube and making money from these videos, okay? Now there's a few things I want to hit about that. A lot of people don't actually like the fact that people make money from YouTube videos. I've seen plenty of videos in the past where people hate on other casters for basically getting ad revenue, and you know, fair enough. I suppose it's sort of an easy way to make money. To be honest, I really have not made that much money. You can't really make much money until you get hundreds of thousands of subscribers. But basically, you know, guys, I'm actually really excited about having these advertisements. What this advertisement means is it's going to be a very exciting time period for the Krebsco channel. I'm not really making that much money right now, to be honest, but through these advertisements, I'm actually raking in a little tiny fraction amount of money. So whatever I'm going to accumulate over these over this time, I'm going to help in putting it towards, well, prizes and competitions. I'm actually really excited about this stuff. Just getting these competitions together and, well, giving you guys a chance to win some money. I'm not going to be doing it right now, but towards December time, where I have my winter break, I'll definitely be doing some competitions for you guys. Because I have some free time then. I'm really looking forward to it. Advertisements down there. Hopefully it's not too intrusive, but it really is such a great thing. I'm really excited about it. And it's nice and way to get something back from putting in all this effort and making these videos for you guys. I really liked entertaining you guys, and I'm just really glad I have this opportunity by YouTube to actually do this. Right! So let's talk about some of the action that's going on the field. I mean, you got your popcorn for the action, the entertainment, not me to be talking about messages, right? So basically, we've got a few motorbikes out from the Wehrmacht. We've also got a few rifleman squads out from, well, the Americans. Now, let's take a look at the exact specifics. We've got 3 engineers and 2 riflemen by the Americans. So one of the Pioneers are actually quite by themselves at the northern sector. They should probably get out of there, and that's good that they are. Who just managing to get out of there. Very good. Also got some mines coming down from BohdiDharma. So they're not absolutely noobish players. They're not absolutely totally dumb. They do know some basics. I mean, putting down mines, I mean, that's a sure sign of good skill in some players. I mean, when they start putting down mines, and especially good places, then yeah, that's a good sign that they actually know what they're doing, and they have an idea of how to succeed against their opponents. Now, we've got an MG42, which is suppressing some of BohdiDharma's riflemen. Not looking too good for those little gentlemen right there, but they're just going to crawl out of that range of the MGs. Now, I actually want to see exactly what the Wehrmacht have. They've got 2 Pioneers, actually 3 Pioneers, single Volks, 2 MGs, or 2 motorcycles, and 1 MG. So that is really a strange mixture of units. No specific strategy, actually, to be honest, right there. Both of these players said that they have never played this map before, and I should mention this in my last cast. I've never played this map before, so I think it's actually quite a common thing with a lot of players. They've never played this map. Duclair 1v1. 2v2, why not? 1v1, not so much. So it's actually really cool to see these players not even approaching this map before, and just, I don't know, doing some guesswork of how they're going to be playing this map. Because a lot of people, when they play Langres or the Samoa or Angeville, all those maps that they usually play, they have a certain strategy or know exactly what to do. So it's pretty cool when players actually play on a new map, and they don't really have an idea of how they're going to be getting around and doing what they need to do. So basically, no set strategy for the Wehrmacht at the moment. Very strange. Second Volksgrenadier coming out. Very strange strategy. A lot of people would go for, you know, some Volks and an MG, or maybe they would go for, you know, snipers and, I don't know, maybe motorbikes or something like that. Just something that really makes more sense. But this is a whole array of different units. But fair enough. I mean, if that's what he wants to do, if he wants to be quite abusive with some motorcycles, then why not? Duclair actually looks like to be quite a open map, quite a big one. So the nice thing about these motorbikes is that they're going to be sprinting to and fro from the engineers really fast. So that's actually a good thing, a good point. If there's engineers capping away, for example, these motorcycles can go up and down the map and try to capture some stuff. Now, it looks like the Wehrmacht is actually losing a little bit of his points. It's not quite down the center line at the moment. It looks like the Americans actually have an advantage in terms of strategic points. However, the Wehrmacht have actually won the encounters up north over here. So well done to them so far. But the Americans responding quite quickly with a set of bars. So the bars are out for all the riflemen. So switching over to BohdiDharma, he's got, ooh, wow, he really doesn't have that much guys out anymore. He's only got 2 engineers and 2 riflemen. What the hell has happened to all of his guys? They must have died in these encounters over here. Not looking good if you're gonna have that few guys. I mean, come on, you need your men. Don't lose them. So at least the bars are going to help out slightly. We've also got a 3rd rifleman squad coming out, and oh my god! An engineer squad just upgraded with the flamethrower being taken out from that motorbike, I believe. The motorbike doing actually a lot of damage, a lot more than I expected. But oh, absolutely ripped apart. That wasn't a good strategy by the engineers. Okay, a good idea. Now, obviously, it's a great idea to bring a flamethrower to a building, but make sure that it's actually upgraded first, or it's just about to be upgraded as soon as you get there. If you're going to be standing about right in front of the MG until you can upgrade your flamethrower, I think that's really the last thing that you want to do, because you're just going to get absolutely wrecked before your flamethrower comes out. By the time the flamethrower comes out, you're probably going to lose your squad. So that's a 50 munitions wasted along with all that manpower for the squad. So it looks like the Americans are really taking a lot of flack here. And this is what I'm going to be talking about, how it's not the absolute most pro-ish gameplay, I suppose you could say. The Americans just took out the MG42 right here, and for some reason they're still crawling. But this is exactly what I mean by not the most expert play. But trust me, this American player is really one of the craziest players I've ever seen. I watched this in 8 times, and he just looked so damn crazy about the way he was moving about. Really strange player to be watching. So far he's lost quite a lot of his riflemen. He's lost quite a lot of guys. He's actually lost his other engineer squad somewhere. I believe that might have been down south, perhaps. So he really is losing quite a lot of his guys. He's got 3 rifleman squads, and only one of them is up to full capacity. Whilst the Wehrmacht is just pretty much everywhere. The Wehrmacht's even using some of his motorbikes to stay near his base to just scout where he's going to be coming from. We've got a few guys over here. I'd really like to see those Pioneers put down a mine somewhere on the road, but looks like LESTANDARTE is actually just getting his Pioneer away from there. But all in all, this motorcycle is doing a lot of casualties on the right rifleman. 4 kills, in fact. Really, I think that is one of the most kills I've ever seen on a motorbike. That's quite sad, but 4 kills, you almost never see that many kills for a vehicle. Now, we've also got light vehicle veterancy out. You can see that by the veterancy 1 on top of this motorcycle, gentlemen. You could say the mechanized motorcycle. So that's light veterancy, vehicle veterancy out. Just going to be supporting them. I don't exactly know the specifics for the veterancy itself, but probably something to do with taking less received damage. You don't get armor skirts from motorcycles, obviously. Probably something maybe to do with max speed, something like that. So it looks like one motorcycle is finally gone, that 4-kill motorcycle. The other one is still alive, however, with 4 kills itself. So 4 kills between each of those motorcycles. But that burning, smoldering wreck right in the middle of the road. How unfortunate indeed. Now, we've got just a bunch of guys moving along the southern side. Looks like they're quite reluctant to be heading towards the northern side, coming out there. It seems like a lot of the Wehrmacht are actually held up this location. Now, quickly looking at what the Wehrmacht have, they actually jumped up to T1, T2, and so they've got the half-track out, as we saw just right over there. Now, I don't actually know. I'm going to actually go to LESTANDARTE and see what he has in terms of fuel. I don't know. To be honest, I think what might have been a better idea is actually to jump right on up to T3. He really had such a great hold over the American. I mean, he had cut off so many of his points. He has quite a decent fuel income. And if he didn't actually spend the fuel on the Creek Barracks and also the half-track, he actually could have gone for Pumas. I think Pumas would have been excellent right now to actually counter the Americans. Because if you think about it, the Americans probably don't have really that much to... Well, really don't have that much in terms to take on vehicles at the moment. I mean, they actually have a lot of fuel. If you look at that, lots of fuel. But that's only T1. They're only at barracks. They haven't even got a supply yard out yet. Looks like we've also got sticky bombs just being upgraded by BohdiDharma. Sticky bombs. So that's quite a bit of fuel invested into these riflemen, into the bars, into the... sticky bombs, but I suppose necessarily it's absolutely fine for them because, well, all they have is a rifleman and they're not really getting vehicles out right now. Now we've just got a firestorm coming down, killing just a bunch of guys right there. Look at all that green XP. You can see about 8, maybe 9 separate XPs. Ouch, coming down from BohdiDharma. He knows that that was a really painful thing for his rifleman right there. Not too good. And again, my point that I'm hitting up, it's just you would expect that a normal player, any expert, or just maybe even yourself, when you see smoke come down right on top of your guys, you'd sort of probably retreat right away. But for whatever reason he didn't. You just crawled and learning from the hard way, losing all those guys and then retreating. It would have been a lot better if you just retreated right away and still had all those guys alive, because now he's just wasting a lot of manpower. So it looks like we've got just a bunch of guys over here, but we've also got the airborne doctrine selected by BohdiDharma, so he's gone down along the right hand side, I believe it is, with the air reconnaissance onto the strafing run, then onto the bombing run. I think it's the right hand side. I don't think it's the left hand side. Hope not anyway. But if he goes down along the left hand side, then he's going to get the paratroopers, then the AT gun drop, and also the supply drops afterwards. So yeah, there you go. Now LESTANDARTE has actually gone for his terror doctrine. We saw that firestorm, so he's gone down along the right hand side of the inspired assault, firestorm V1. Left hand side is going to be some other great stuff. Now all these guys moving on towards the center, really wanting this side. We've also got probably a stray guy just going down here. Yes, we do. Just a stray rifleman squad and a stray Volksgrenadier just going to be about to take each other on. I'm not sure how exactly that lone Volksgrenadier squad is going to fare against the bar squad, but fair enough. Also, the sticky bombs taking out the engine of this half-track, this motorcycle just barely getting away. The only thing stopping these riflemen from getting on in here is the fact that the MG on top of this half-track is suppressing them. Not exactly like a normal MG, but it is doing a little bit of suppression. As you guys can see, more so suppressing one squad at a time than rather than all the squads. But yeah, again, here we go. Sacrificing so many of his squads. Something you would expect not from expert players. You'd expect for expert players to be retreating right away. Not really something you'd expect for these players to do, but oh my god! Losing 2 rifleman squads just in order to save a bar. In order to save a bar. He could have actually done that, but I have absolutely no idea. They just got absolutely shredded there. Trying to save a bar and losing a squad in the meantime. So losing 2 squads in total. This is what I mean by the very crazy play of the American. You just have to see. It looks like he's losing right now, but trust me guys, just watch this replay a bit more. So basically, the Americans are just losing so many of their guys compared to LESTANDARTE, who has only lost like what, a single motorcycle, and that's about it. They're really losing a lot of guys, and you just don't really know how they're holding on to so many of their points at the moment. Really, you have absolutely no clue how they're holding on to so many points and bringing out so many guys. So overall, it looks like the Wehrmacht have actually got their T3 out for the light vehicles. As you guys can see by the Kampfkraft Center, it has fully upgraded for the light vehicles anyway. It'll look completely different if they got some other veterancies. Where's all this action going on? I can hear some action. It's just down south. Well, it looks like that lone Volksgrenadier squad actually took on that bar squad. And there we go, being the smart player and retreating while we can. Veterancy 0 on the Volksgrenadiers. So that's the last thing you want against bars. They're going to get absolutely ripped apart. So, I don't know. It's good that they have the Veterancy 3 out for the half tracks, but what's the exact reason? I'm not exactly sure. I don't know the specifics for the Veterancy for light vehicles, as I said previously, but you know, I'm sure it does some very basic stuff, such as taking less damage and stuff like that. So I suppose it's good on that front. If you're going to be investing heavily into your vehicles, then why not? I suppose, you know, keep these half tracks alive a bit longer from stickies. Just keep them alive longer in general. I mean, especially the motorcycles, for example, who get torn apart really easily. Then I suppose it's actually a good idea. Keep them alive longer if you're going to be using them so heavily. Personally, I almost never get light vehicle veterancy unless I go for Stugs or get Schutzwagen, or no, not Stugs, but more specifically Pumas. Sorry, Stugs obviously get the tank veterancy. It's not actually the light vehicle veterancy, but you know, stuff like that. The Pumas, for example, I go for light vehicle veterancy, and just to upgrade them if I'm going to be going heavily invested into Pumas. Otherwise, if I go for infantry, I'll get heavily invested into infantry, so on and so forth. You know, just stuff that makes sense, right? Now, it looks like some of these guys are capping up north, just capping the few unclaimed strategic points at the moment, but oh no, the Americans are still holding in rather quite well despite taking so many damn casualties. You wouldn't expect it, but they are. Now, it looks like we've also got Veterancy 1 out for the Pioneers, so support veterancy. We've also got a mortar out, surprisingly. Now, you wouldn't really expect that. I suppose if maybe LESTANDARTE sort of learned that the American is sort of clumping up all of his guys, and he's still pushing his guys forward even despite them getting suppressed. So maybe that motor is going to be a good idea to just finish off all these guys. Oh my god, that flame half track is really just killing all these guys. Look at that, killing like 5 guys in one go. These riflemen just, jeez, they were absolutely cooked right there, absolutely cooked. And this MG nest is just about to go down, this MG emplacement. Man, those riflemen really took a lot of casualties. They were trying to get on in there, throw off a sticky bomb or two onto that half track, but smart player LESTANDARTE is just moving it on back. Now, you wouldn't really guess this, but despite all the casualties that the Americans are taking, they're still capturing loads and loads of territory. You just wouldn't expect it whatsoever, especially losing so many guys, and the Wehrmacht's hardly lost anything except for a motorcycle. I don't know, it's really strange. Now, just a bunch of guys here. There's also got the paratroopers, the airborne, just coming out for BohdiDharma. Oh man, is that mortar going to go down? One single bullet could finish him off, and no, it looks like they're actually getting out. Very good. But the paratroopers just coming down, so I suppose they're going to be investing into recoilless rifles. That's going to help quite a bit against the vehicles, but let's see how much munitions he has. Whoa, not that much. Do you think that the paratroopers are actually a good idea? I don't know. Because, well, let's talk about the paratroopers. Very expensive guys. 375 manpower to actually call on, and they're very, very costly to reinforce. Something like 42 manpower, which is a whole lot more. What the heck is that? Is that a turret? What the heck is that? Guys, I have absolutely no idea how to explain that. Or is that something like he just crashed into? I have absolutely no idea. I think that's something he just crashed into. Oh my god, I think it was actually a telephone pole. Right, carrying a telephone pole in the Wehrmacht half track. I mean, they have to keep communication with the front line somehow. Whatever. Anyway, so basically what I was saying, 375 manpower to actually call them down. Also very expensive, like 42 or 47 manpower, something like that, to actually reinforce them per man, which is very, very costly for an airborne squad. Now, also, that's not the only cost. The recoilless rifles are also very, very expensive. 125 munitions just for a set for your paratroopers. That's really expensive, especially when you don't have that much munitions at the moment. So you can really see what this one airborne squad doesn't even have recoilless rifles. So the only AT that the Americans have at the moment is just sticky bombs, and that's it. I suppose they don't have to really worry as much. I would worry quite a bit if I was, say, the Americans and there were Pumas, for example. I would be quite worried then if I didn't really have AT. But I suppose he doesn't have to worry that much if there's only half tracks. I mean, those flamethrowers are still doing quite a lot of damage indeed. So I don't know, he just needs to be a bit careful. Personally, what might have been a better idea is maybe go for some Rangers. You know, Rangers are quite costly as well in terms of manpower. However, you get bazookas absolutely free with them. There's no munitions cost to actually upgrade them, and you get 2 free bazookas, which is actually really, really good. Basically, that would probably be a good idea. Now, also the Rangers have, you know, some sort of heroic charge, and they can just run on up to these flamethrower half tracks and just easily just fire right in front of them, do a lot of damage, because as we all know, bazookas do the most damage, do a lot of damage in comparison to the other forms of AT, such as Panther Shreks and recoilless rifles. Not the most accurate, but do a lot of damage. I believe actually maybe the most damage out of all of them. So basically, that would be a good idea. Just heroic charge on up to the half track, just fire away with your bazookas, and boom, that should be just about it. Otherwise, the Americans would be absolutely probably fine. And again, you're not expecting this, but the Americans still have so much guys out on the field, so heavily invested into their riflemen. Just losing another squad, is that? Did they just lose a squad, or was it just a few guys? I didn't actually notice. But look at how that half track is just tearing these guys apart, cooking them crisp. Oh my gosh, it's baking day on Duclair. You can just look at all these guys on fire. How awful. How absolutely awful. And yet BohdiDharma is still not retreating his squads. He's still throwing as many stickies on them as possible, despite all these flames coming down. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Destroyed engine. Now it's going to be very difficult for this half-track to get on out of there. On a slither of health, just even bullets could finish it off. It looks like one Volksgrenadier squad just going down over here. Also something coming down. Is that an airborne? Yeah, that's airborne infantry. And there you go, long-range shot with the rifleman, just finishing off the rest of that half-track back armor penetration, right? So there we go, just a bunch of guys over here, and come on, let's see some sort of skirmishing. Are we going to see a grenade? A grenade! Maybe a grenade! No grenades. I mean, they definitely have the fuel to actually get grenades, but I suppose they don't actually have it upgraded. Damn! That would have helped a lot against these Volksgrenadiers, especially how they captured one of the bars. You capture my bars? Now, we've also got a few observation posts down across the map. We've got one down here. I believe we had one just up over here a little bit earlier. Where's the other one? Oh, there's one by BohdiDharma. So it looks like both factions are going for observation posts. They both got them. BohdiDharma especially needs them because he's spending a lot of his munitions. He really needs munitions for recoilless rifles. But yeah, again, he still doesn't have any recoilless rifles landing right on top of mine. This is BohdiDharma just going absolutely crazy here. I keep on hitting this point, but how the hell is BohdiDharma maintaining so much of these points? Maybe it's because he's spamming infantry like no tomorrow. He doesn't even have a supply yard out yet. And that's kind of a bad thing for the Americans, because if you don't know, the Americans have... Oh god, I'm losing one of their guys. The Americans have such high upkeep for their guys. If you don't know what upkeep is, basically it's anytime you build a squad, I believe it's per man, dependent, but basically every man's going to have an upkeep, and what this does is it actually deducts a certain amount of manpower from your manpower income rate. And so basically the Americans have a much higher upkeep compared to other factions, so they'll deduct a lot more manpower than other factions per squad. So basically that's why you have to get a supply yard, because supply yard actually reduces that upkeep, something like 25% each go or something like that. and basically that helps a lot. So definitely wouldn't it be nice to see a supply yard, and actually I'm speaking too soon because the supply yard is just coming down. So there we go, at least getting that. So this is going to help the manpower to go up at least quite a bit, you know, maybe up 50 or so. 40 manpower, something like that, income rate. And you know what, that adds up over time, because, you know, say if it was 40, an extra plus 40 finish manpower. In 5 minutes, that's 200 manpower. Okay, that's enough to afford like an engineer squad, and eventually you could start affording more stuff. So it does help over time. Alright, so just everyone is focusing on the center. This map is really similar to 2v2 Duclair. I mean, everything is pretty much the same except for the VPs just being moved around. And oh gosh, this is the last thing that the Americans need, and Ostwind is just coming out. So if you were thinking, how the hell are they, Wehrmacht, going to end this? Well, I think it's kind of predictable. They're going to be getting some T4 vehicles out. Now, yet again, I'm going to tell you guys that the Americans are really crazy here, and they will exceed your expectations. But the Ostwind's just coming out for the Wehrmacht, and oh my god, this is the last thing that the Americans need. So they really need some recoilless rifles right now. They don't have a choice. What are sticky bombs going to do against an Ostwind? Not really much. Maybe they could do something against half-track, because, you know, half-track's not going to kill as fast, but an Ostwind is going to kill damn fast, really fast. It's going to just go through them one by one, just like nothing. Absolutely nothing. Alright, but this motorcycle is still alive by LESTANDARTE. 9 kills on him. The absolute most I've ever seen. What's kind of funny, actually, is that this replay that I grabbed off of Game Replays, one squad going down here for the Wehrmacht. This replay that I actually grabbed. Oh, we've got V1 coming down. And just a bunch of guys over here. So that motorcycle is actually revealing some of the territory. Oh my god! Oh my gosh. BohdiDharma. Nice. He just lost like everything. He didn't lose everything, but he just lost like half of his army. Oh my god. Best V1 he's ever seen. I've actually seen a better V1. I'm sure you guys have seen in my previous cast the V1 to remember, but that was in itself probably the second best V1 I've ever seen. Oh my god. Just landing right on top of these guys. I don't think he was even expecting that. So LESTANDARTE was so damn smart right there, actually predicting where the guys were going to go. So he was going to drop his V1. Now, a lot of people might have dropped the V1 like around here, or maybe on the retreat point, because maybe they were expecting that. But he actually put it down over here. So it's probably a choice between either the HQ or up forward where the emplacements are. So I suppose he just wanted to nail everything, get the barracks in, get some of the guys in. Oh my god, perfect kill right there. And BohdiDharma is actually saying good game, but the timer is there's still a lot of time left on this replay, so calling good game, but still going on. Now, what I was saying with the motorcycle, 9 kills for him. When I got this replay just off of Game Replays, it was, the title of it was actually a motorcycle called Saturn. So obviously a very special motorcycle, because, well, I'm so ridiculous. It's godlike almost. 9 kills for a motorcycle. You really almost never, pretty much never see that. Because the motorcycles just die so easy. I mean, they're so cheap, and they literally just die like nothing. They just fall apart as soon as they just hit the road. They just come to pieces. They dismantle. But getting away, constantly getting repaired. Panzer IV coming out for LESTANDARTE, really trying to seal the deal with the Americans, but the Americans still holding on to tons of their points. 264 for the Americans in terms of VPs, and 233 for the Wehrmacht. So actually the Wehrmacht are losing in terms of VPs, you wouldn't expect it. But we've also got an AT's gun just coming down from the paratroopers. There we go, coming down right on top of these guys. Nice thing about the... Wow, that's actually a lot of damage. Nice thing about the airborne doctrine is that, well, even though you might lose your barracks like LESTANDARTE or BohdiDharma actually just had, losing his barracks, you can still get infantry. You can still get these airborne paratroopers, and you can also get AT guns. So you don't even have to get a motor pool. Absolutely spectacular. Such a great unison of doctrine of the doctrine, and what you don't actually have to build. Also, supply drops, airborne supply drops. You also get mortars and MGs for free. absolutely spectacular. So you get a mixture of just about every single building except the tank depot in just one doctrine. It's so damn effective. It really is. But I'll actually hit on a point. I know some of you don't like the airborne doctrine because, you know, you might think it's a bit unfair that they get all this stuff for free, but I'm actually going to hit that point up in the feedback at the end of this episode. Alright, so the Wehrmacht is just trying to take out this one observation post up north, and also some guys over here, but overall the Americans really do not have that much left. One single guy in this squad. A Vet 2 squad as well. Just absolutely mental. I mean, so many people, they would take such care with their units. They would really not want to lose them. And we've got something coming down here. Airborne supply drop right on top of the Ostwind. What's the reasoning? I have no idea. Trying to trap it, maybe? I actually have no idea, guys. Just no clue whatsoever. AT gun is trying to come back on here into the base as best as it can, but not looking like it's knowing what to do. Everything is falling apart for the Americans, but they're still trying to hold on in here. Recoilless rifles finally for one of the airborne squads. Now, maybe these two guys together could actually do something, but still needs to be a bit careful because that Ostwind is just right over here. But the AT gun is still alive. Still alive. Yay! Oh no! Yay! It's still alive. Good. Okay. But this Ostwind just barely getting out of there. Alright, so it looks like the Wehrmacht are capturing all the points over in the center side, and we've got just another Ostwind just waiting around here. But overall, the Wehrmacht really don't have that much in terms of infantry and units. Oh, I'm speaking too soon. I see what's happening here. We've got 3 half-tracks. This is most likely going to be some sort of game ender, a game changer. Rather than sending a unit in at a time, I think he's just going to mass up his guys and send them in all together. Not a bad plan, actually. Quick drink of water, guys. And how's that popcorn? Are you guys actually enjoying it? Like, what's flavor of popcorn do you guys enjoy? It's quite funny. In the UK, they actually, well, actually in America and Canada, they highly love butter popcorn. I don't think you get any other flavor except butter. But in the UK over here in Scotland and England or whatever, you actually don't really get butter. Sometimes you do. You can buy it in the stores. But at the cinemas, you don't actually get butter popcorn. You actually get salted or sweet popcorn. That's the only flavors. I actually prefer sweet popcorn, just my taste. Why would I want to get high blood pressure if I went for salt, you know? Anyway, so it looks like overall the Wehrmacht are just solidifying their defensive lines, just capturing what they can. But still, the Axis, or the Americans actually just still have a lot of stuff. 579 fuel, that is just so much that they're floating at the moment. 171 for munitions, that's a lot they can afford. Quite a few airborne if they wished so. Then we've got a few guys moving about here. We've got airborne, just, I don't even know what the hell they're doing. Just, he's laughing. He's laughing about it. BohdiDharma's just laughing. He doesn't even care how mental he's being. Despite a flamethrower trying to kill his airborne, he's still trying to destroy his observation post. I have absolutely no idea why. I think he's just having a laugh right now. Maybe he knows he's going to lose, but he's just having a laugh, trying to delay the Wehrmacht as much as he can. Truly just all about entertainment right now. And now we've got the sprint right on up there. 3 guys in the squad. The okay, whatever. Let's focus on the main action. There's really no explaining on some of these occasions right now. Just a bunch of guys over here, but the half-tracks are coming in. So all of them have flamethrowers, the Flammenwerfer, or whatever it's called, the Flammenwerfer. All of them just coming in one big go. This is going to be too much for the Americans to handle. The Americans even throwing satchel charges. I don't even know. They're just trying to do as best as they can, what they can do. Throwing down a satchel charge, actually taking out one of the half-tracks. Absolutely mental what they're doing, and a highly damaging one of these ones over here. I wonder if he's going to actually throw another one. Maybe he's going to do it. Actually, this one airborne squad actually has a bar on him. He's going to throw down another satchel charge. He could actually do it. And is he going to? I'd like to see it. AT gun right here missing. Oh, no! Don't miss. Don't miss. And he's just about to go down, this one airborne squad. No! Going down. BohdiDharma saying it's buggy. I have no idea. AT gun going down. I really don't think there's anything else that they can do. Also, supply drops coming down for whatever reason. I have no idea. Maybe just trying to get some more munitions. I have actually no clue why he's calling it down. But fair enough. V1, you can hear it. It's most likely going to be coming down right on top of the HQ over here. And the airborne are still staying at the HQ despite a V1 just about to come on top of them. Ah! Landing right behind the HQ. God. Oh gosh. And good game coming down from LESTANDARTE, because they know that this is the end. I mean, everything is taken out. The Americans just lost every single infantry squad they had. They literally have nothing. I can't even select the shield on the right anymore because there is nothing left. And all in all, how many kills on that bike? That's actually a good question. I'd like to see 9 or 10. 9 or 10 kills. I think that motorbike actually might be gone. I think it might be actually be dead. Oh, surprisingly, it's gone. So there we go. There we go, guys. The end is nigh. And for whatever reason, it looked like a bombing run was just above. But anyway, guys. Or maybe a strafing run. Or recon run. I don't know. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed the replay. It was really just all about entertainment and how crazy this American guy was. Just how I don't really know. There wasn't any direct planning or strategy in what these players were doing, but it's just funny watching them do whatever they did. Alright, so I hope you guys enjoyed the replay. Now let's head on over to the feedback time. Feedback time. Feedback time. Now, what question did I actually ask you guys last week? Let me try to remember. I've got paper in front of me. Now, the question that I asked you guys last week is, what is your least favorite doctrine to play or fight against, and why? Okay, because I was really hitting on the point in the last question episode, was that, well, basically these three American players, they all three of them went for armor doctrine, and oh my god, it was absolutely insane. It was damn right out insane. Basically, it became sort of like borderline abusive, as some people were saying. 4 Calliopes out. They could potentially have gotten 6, but 4 Calliopes and 1 person went for Irish Pershing. At the end of the game, there's 4 Calliopes and something like 3 Pershings out as well. And it just became borderline abusive with how bad it was. So I asked you guys, what's your least favorite doctrine to play against and why? So let's hit on up the first points. Okay, so right in front of your screen, you can see the messages of what some people left me. Now, these aren't all the messages. I actually focused on the ones that were the most, I don't know, the most observant, and also, well, some of these posts that you guys sent me were just sort of duplicates of each other, you know, talk about the same stuff, so I just posted up the best ones. So we'll start with the bottom and then work our way to the top. Now, Modex, 1992, I bet he was net pro in 1992, says, I do agree, armor doctrine in American company. Calliope's lethal for my static defense line, and try to stop a Pershing without 88s or Tigers. Yeah, it's quite hard, isn't it, to take on a Pershing without all that. And Brits, I really hate Royal Artillery. Mobile priests, greater range for 25 pounders ruining my own base. Exactly one of the most annoying things with, not necessarily pros do this, but in a lot of more average games, people will actually, if they're especially desperate or trying to finish the game, they'll start bombarding your base. Totally valid strategy, however, quite annoying to do that. They'll actually start bombarding your base. Wehrmacht is deadly with Blitzkrieg Doctrine. Stormtroopers out of freaking nowhere, supported by Tigers. Stormtroopers, yeah, fair enough. They can be a bit lethal with camouflage, but they are easy to reveal. PE's really annoying with Tank Busters, Doctrine, Double Shrek Squads, cheap. Hetzers, wouldn't exactly say Hetzers are the cheapest. I mean, really, when you're talking about Hetzers and something else, such as Grenadier Squads or Teching Up, for example, it's quite a hard choice. I wouldn't exactly say that, you know, they're cheap Hetzers. They actually are quite expensive. Now, on to Gens 2. It says, well, I'd say as Wehrmacht, my least favorite opponents are American Armor Company as well as British Commandos. It's hard to make a solid push against an American with access to 1 or 2 Calliopes that quickly can decimate infantry or support units. They are quite the challenge. I can totally agree and relate to you on that point. I hate it as when I'm going defensive and people Calliope barrage my guys to massacred carcasses. British Commandos, guys appearing anywhere on the map, taking out my MGs and packs quicker than lightning and then running away, perhaps even be so rude as to leave a demolition charge on top of the enemy weapons. Obviously a valid strategy, but quite annoying. Sometimes, as just like people bombing your base, sometimes people will actually do commandos and drop them on faraway points. This is like an average game, so sometimes drop them faraway points and just start decapping your stuff that is behind your lines, basically. It just becomes a bit annoying. I'm sure you guys have been up against that before. Sebster NR1, number 1. As an armor player, I hate Blitz. Stu ruining the day for my infantry all time. Vetted MP44, Shrek Storms, and the game-ending Tiger. Stu, I wouldn't say... The Stu, I don't know, it's actually a lot better nowadays at killing infantry. I wouldn't say it's absolutely spectacular, it still is quite inaccurate. Vetted MP44, Shrek Storms. Then again, like I said just previously, they are quite easy to reveal, and sometimes what people do is they heavily rely on these sort of, I don't know, I suppose you could say moving forward sort of attacks with their camouflage stormtroopers, and sometimes if they get revealed, that can sort of ruin the whole plan of attack. Okay, and let's see, Mr. Gaki says, well, in this game for me everything is balanced. Alright, you can win every unit, every doctrine, but for me, the doctrine that I hate to fight the most is the Luftwaffe. Why? Because the units that they call in are just so hard to kill, especially that I am a fan of infantry, and all those anti-infantry units that the Luftwaffe can send in are really hard to face. As well as they can make flak 88s, and that can also tanks like nothing. Okay, take tanks like nothing. There's much more to say and not enough space in comments on YouTube. Oh no, how darn you, YouTube, and your 500 character limit. But basically, I don't know, the Luftwaffe isn't that bad to take on. Basically, they do have a lot of anti-infantry stuff with, you know, the flak Führerlings and stuff like that. And the Fallschirmjägers, and I don't know what else they have, but they have other stuff, the Wirbelwind. But I don't know, I think overall they're quite a balanced doctrine. I don't think there's anything that hard about them. Flak 88 is quite easy to take out if you have artillery, so no really bad respect on that part. Neo994,000 says, I hate the goddamn airborne doctrine, at least at the level I play, 8 to 14. The players I use airborne troops with recoilless rifles to kill all my armor and run past my MGs. They get their own MGs, mortars, pipe supply drops. Airborne are very good at capping, so they harass the hell out of me. By capturing points, they manage to get munition superiority, which they strafe and bomb the crap out of my troops. Okay. Well, if they actually get to manage that point where they have air superiority, then they actually sort of deserve it, to be honest. I mean, the airborne, this is the point that I was going to make that I said a little bit earlier. The airborne is actually quite a wonky doctrine, okay? Basically, their infantry costs a lot to bring out onto the field, 375 manpower, a lot to reinforce. So basically, they'll almost always have a surplus in fuel, okay? You almost always have a surplus in fuel. Airborne, the supply drops, the air supply drops. A lot of people, I've heard some arguments that people say it's unfair that they get all this free resources and stuff. Well, you need to think about it a little bit. Airborne will almost always have a surplus in fuel. What we saw just with BohdiDharma is that he had about 500 or so fuel floating. They'll always have a surplus of fuel because they're spending their manpower on other stuff, not on teching up and for going for tanks. Also, recoilless rifles, 125 munitions. That is a lot. Also, the bombing run and strafing run are very, very expensive abilities to use themselves. So basically, you're always going to be stuck between recoilless rifles and those strafing runs and bombing runs. Very, very costly stuff. So also, it's just really expensive. So I don't know. I think it's quite balanced in my opinion. The airborne doctrine. I don't think there's anything really horrible there. It's really making decisions about what you're going to spend stuff on. Okay, so on over to the second page of comments, we have Michael's Ama86 saying, I find Armor Doc is the most annoying. Calliopes fire faster than most people can react to the situation, and they can escape if trouble arrives. Compared to the Humo or Priest, Calliope is better. American players can't wait for it. Calliopes are strong by causing physical damage to units as well as the mental state of the actual opponent. The Americans use Calliopes like the torrent of a mighty river. I actually like that analogy of the torrent of a mighty river. Basically, a Calliopes, you could sort of think like that. Very, very bad for the mentality of people. It's bad for, you know, howitzers and priests and all that, but to be honest, priests not only shoot one salvo at a time, okay? It's quite easy to actually dodge that stuff. Calliopes, they have like 16 different rockets bombing away at you, and it really takes a toll on your mentality. I agree on that respect. Finally, the last comment says, Osiris85 says, if my opponent knows what he's doing, Scorcher gives me the most trouble. It's really frustrating to have to essentially micro every single unit when you send them into cap, miss one booby-trapped point, and it could quickly cost you an entire squad. Queuing up cap orders is really dangerous. I'm not even going to elaborate on the headaches a Humo can give you. I actually agree. In more expert games, one of the hardest doctrines to possibly take on is the actual Well, is Scorched Earth. It could be a big problem in more newbie games, indeed, especially when micro isn't really there, but on games that are already micro-intensive, the last thing you want to do is having to go right around the field and having to make sure that you can move your guys between booby trap points so you can actually avoid them. It's not as easy as just shift clicking, because that's not going to work. You actually have to literally have your attention on the point to actually move your guys out of the way before that booby trap is activated. So I agree on that point. Scorched Earth, it can be really annoying. Also, they can Scorched Earth points and destroy them entirely. We've seen that in one of my previous replays. I can't remember which one. I think it's actually VPs don't matter, but people actually destroyed the VP points consistently so that they wouldn't lose and actually beat the Americans by doing that. But anyway, that's summarizes all the opinions, and you guys already know my opinions. My least favorite doctrine to be up against is actually the airborne, or the armor doctrine. As I've been already talking about in this cast, and also the last question cast, basically it's because the Calliope's damn effective, Pershing's damn effective, field repairs and Allied War Machine damn effective, so everything is great for the armor doctrine later on in the game. It's really hard to deal with later on. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the replay. I hope it was entertaining. I hope you enjoyed your popcorn. And of course, guys, I hope you all have a very nice day. But until next time, see you all later. Bye-bye.